Welcome to this podcast by the Grupo de Estudios Venezuela, Estados Unidos. My name is Dr. Micheal Tarver, and I'm a professor of history at Arkansas Tech University. This afternoon's podcast is with Marcus Golding from the University of Texas at Austin, and we are specifically going to have him talk about a project that he is working on with Guillermo Guzman and Guillermo Ramos Flamarish, the Venezuelan History Network, or the Red Historia Venezuela, a project that looks to increase the digital resources of Venezuelan sources. So at this point, welcome, Mr. Golding, to our podcast.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tarver, for the opportunity. I appreciate this moment.
What I'd like to do is just sort of give you free reign to just kind of tell us about the project, where the ideas came from to start this, who your collaborators are, and what it is that you're doing and hope to do with this project.
Definitely. So this idea of the Venezuelan History Network, it came as a concern that originally Guillermo Guzman and myself had when we met in 2018, because we are historians and we realized that accessing Venezuelan sources is pretty difficult. There is right now, public archives are difficult to access. Many of them are understaffed. Many of them doesn't have the resources to keep the materials in good conditions. So there are a host of different factors. The infrastructure to host these documents is not always the best one. So there were a host of structural factors that we realized were threatening the future of the Venezuelan historical memory, if you wish. And we decided to do something because we also noticed that there were no private organizations either doing anything of the scale that we are doing right now. So we decided to explore alternatives. How could we start this tradition of preserving these records through their digitization, right? And slowly and steadily, we start coming up with the idea of creating a foundation dedicated to that, because the importance of having an institutional framework, if you want, is that it allows you to then establish establish better connections, collaborations with international partners, and also it allows you, it provides you with the infrastructure to receive funding and implement projects. So we decided to basically come together in 2021, and we started. We brought with us Guillermo Flamarish, who also had some experiences already digitizing records in Venezuela. And we decided to create the Venezuelan History Network as a nonprofit dedicated to digitize records, historical records, as a means to preserve their legacy in the future, and create open source archives. So that means that anyone that have access to internet can go to our website and check our collections and download the information and use them for educational or academic purposes, or cultural purposes, of course. So with that in mind, we started thinking about what could be the first project that we could work on. And since we didn't have much resources really, we thought about just focusing on private archives important Venezuelan politicians that we could, slowly but steadily start to digitize. But then in 2020, at the end of the 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, the National Academy of History invited us to help them digitize one of their historical collections, which is a section of judicial and civil cases related to slavery in the colonial period and also in the early years of the Republic. And we thought this was a great opportunity. We start to mobilize, we start looking for support and funding to carry out this project. We secure funding from a German foundation, the Gerda Henkel Stiftung, which was very interested in this project. And so we started with their support. We started this project. It has been a very long but beautiful project of digitizing approximately 400 volumes of colonial records regarding the history of Afro-Venezuelan slaves, covering, from the early 18th century to the mid 19th century. And, we had to learn how to implement digitization project from start to end. To that end, we were able also to get the support and advice from organizations that have done these kind of projects here in the United States. And we trained local staff there who then started digitizing these collections, and also setting up all the digital infrastructure, the website, the digital platform where we are uploading these documents. So by now, we have basically finished the project, or the digitization phase. All these 400 volumes are completed, and we're in the process of uploading them to our website. So if you go to our website, which is Red Historia VE.org.org, redhistoria.org, redhistoriaave.org, you can basically, and we have our website is in English and Spanish. You can go to the section, to the collections section, and you will find our only collection right now, which is these judicial and civil cases regarding slavery from the colonial period. And you will be able to look at close to, right now I think we have close to 200 volumes uploaded there, which that contains their own metadata. So that means that if you want to look for particular words, particular locations within the collection, you will be able to do so, and that's gonna, facilitate your work of finding the material that you want. And our hope is, to spread the word, to have people visit our site and start utilizing these original sources, because these volumes have not been much explored according to what our friends at the Academia Nacional de la Historia have told us. And part of the reason is also that these volumes are not in very good shape. I mean, they are in a sufficient good shape for digitizing, but they are not in general in a very good shape. People also don't know much about this collection. So our hope is to bring important sources about Venezuelan history to the public that were previously, that people were previously unaware of. And this is the first big project that we think we are fulfilling that goal. But the idea is to digitize everything that we can. We are not focusing in the colonial period. We are not colonialists, Guillermo Guzman or Guillermo Ramos or myself. We focus on the 20th century, but we understand that, history is important no matter what century or location. So our aim is to digitize everything that we can about Venezuelan history in other archives of the country as well. we have slowly started to build partnerships with other organizations that have projects dedicated to digitized records. And our hope is, to bring this network together and to start, working together to promote the digitization of records, promote uploading them to open source platforms, and also work together to look for funding, and also train people that tomorrow, when the country is in a better shape in that sense, can take responsibility in the public archives and private archives of preserving these records themselves. So that's what we are doing right now. We have several projects in mind. We have several donors and individuals in mind. We have to prepare a lot of applications to see if our projects are of interest to get funding, because funding is an important component of all of that. It's not only about the digitization of records. It's purchasing the equipment, also paying the salaries for the people who work, but also the hosting services or fees that we have to pay annually to keep these materials online. So we are always looking for funding. So I take this opportunity also to promote our initiative, and if there are people among the audience that are interested in the preservation of historical records, or specifically in the history of Venezuela, that would like to contribute with what we are doing, please contact us. We will be happy to meet with you, either to collaborate or to cooperate, or if you know of funding, or if you want to provide us with a donation or anything, that would be great. But yeah, we're at this moment finishing this first project and looking forward to implement new projects starting towards the end of this year and starting next year. And yeah, that's mostly everything about what we are doing. It's worth mentioning that in comparison to Venezuela, there are many other Latin American countries that are way ahead of us in this regard. Not only public institutions with the resources to do this work, but also nonprofits which are doing an incredible job in Colombia, in Argentina. So we are also trying to fill those shoes in Venezuela and go in that direction. So yeah, hopefully that's gonna happen. I would again invite people to visit our website, to visit our collection. That's Red Historia Venezuela.org. And yeah, reach out to us. We would be very happy to talk with you all.
Okay, thank you very much, and we will put that information out.